Yes, 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 it is Wednesday, and you have made it to yet another halfway mark of your week. No, we're not going to call this a hump day, but we're going to call this the G Code day because today is the day you get your daily dose, more so your weekly dose of motivation to be inspired and motivated by someone else's journey and how you too can turn your dreams into a reality just like they did and get a chance to get to know the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success. You see, so many people have no clue or they ignore the fact that there is ugliness to success. We get a chance to look at folks post up them in a different country. We get a chance to see posts of people working and being connected to celebrities and doing what they love to do. But so many people don't get a chance to see the nights they cried, the times they wanted to forgive up, the fact that their bank account was on zero, or the fact that they really believed at some point that they weren't going to make it, or the fact that they slept on someone else's couch to achieve their dreams, or had to drive all the way to LA, or they didn't have the money to eat while they were at an audition. There is a lot of ugliness to the success that is received and sometimes the grind as well. But we don't get a chance to see that. We get the finished product. We get to see the polished trophy that we call the people who have reached the goals. And then we look at them and we say, goals. Well, my dear, along with those goals come a lot of work. Along with those goals come failures. And along with those goals come heartbreaks. So ask yourself the question, can you actually take in all the ugliness to the success that a person has received? Because if you can't, I need you not to be rolling around here talking about goals, because please understand there is the pretty, the ugly, and the grind, and there's always an ugliness to the success. It's time for us to jump into the G Code with me, ADRI.V, the Go Getta. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe to us on the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, as well as the SoundCloud. And do not forget you can make your way to ADRI.V.com to check it all out there as well. And you can follow me at all things ADRI.V, the Go Getter, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Snapchat, all that good stuff if you want to get a chance to see what I'm talking about and share in when it comes to the G Code. Well, it's time for us to jump into this joint with my girl who is pretty dope from my hometown of Buffalo. And all I got to say is great things come from this place. It's time to get into the G Code. What's up, my go-getters? It is me, ADRI.V, the go-getter, back at it again for another episode of the G Code. And I am beyond excited, and I consider it an honor to have with me on the mic, I will call her an educator, a teacher, a Marine, black girl magic all the way around, and definitely a hot and dope musician. Welcome to the G Code, my girl, Miss Zuri Appleby.
Thank you for having me, ADRI.V. It's a blessing to be here. I'm stoked.
Girl, I'm really excited that you are here. First and foremost, you just hopped off the plane from LA.
Just hopped off.
From the AMAs.
Right.
Now, what was that like?
That was pretty surreal. We rehearsed heavy for a week, and then it was 5 minutes of just bow, 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 and then it's all over. And it's just a big cluster. Amazing.
Cluster. Now, before we even just get into, what is it you were doing at the AMAs, let's talk about this. You recently been tapped on the shoulder to be the bass player. Now, what is the particular name for it?
The bassist.
The bassist? Okay, yeah. I thought so. I was making sure that I got it right.
Either way, bass player, bassist.
For the bass player for Nick Jonas. Now, how did that come about? And just like, how did that even happen?
It all came up by I don't believe in coincidence. So It was just synchronicity. It was literally, they Googled female bassists.
Wow.
And they're all based out of LA, and they're, big, like as big as it gets for pop. And they Googled me and they found me, saw some of my videos, and then hit me up on Instagram. I get an Instagram message, somebody I don't follow. I was private at the time, so I'm like, who is this?
Right.
I read it. Hey, check your email about a gig. And I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. And they're like, well, we want to know if you're interested in being a bassist for Nick Jonas. And I was like, what?
Right.
Yeah, I would love to. And they had call-ins and walk-ins from LA and all over the world, and I was the one that they got, some girl from Buffalo.
Some girl from Buffalo with the black girl magic. And so, before we even get into that, I mentioned you being an educator and also you being a Marine.
Yes.
What was the beginning stages of Miss Appleby? How were you as a kid starting up, and did you decide to go with the bass? How did that become your instrument of choice?
I was blessed on both sides of my parents, and them both being musicians. My dad's a bassist who was from Buffalo, and well-known Rodney Appleby played for Deep Purple and Rick James and Chuck Berry, and the list goes far beyond what I could even call out. And then my mother's been a music teacher in the Buffalo public school systems for 30 plus years. So they also didn't force me into being a musician, but they put that on me. I tried guitar, tried a bunch of instruments, none of them stuck. And my dad being a full-time musician, my mom was a teacher, so he was home to teach me. I said, okay, mom's too busy teaching me how to play piano. Dad, what do you got? And then he had me do bass, and I was like, okay, this is the one. This is the one. I don't know. It just stuck. It felt better than any other instrument I had tried out, and I tried some.
That's what's up. And when you think about the bass, it's an intimidating instrument. I look at it. My grandfather played guitar when all his life, and I asked him, my granddad, can you teach me how to play guitar? He's like, I don't have the patience. He literally purchased me an acoustic guitar and gave me some DVDs, like, here, learn.
Well, a lot of people do. A lot of people do learn that way, but that's such a you really have to want to do it if that's the way that you're gonna approach it. That's definitely a lot.
Absolutely. And so for you to take on the bass, that is, for me, it looks so intimidating. It's almost bigger than you.
Why is it intimidating?
It's so big. It's really huge. But I love to see you rock it and you play it. I got a chance to check you out at a couple gigs just here locally, and I was like, yo, she is so dope. She always got the funky hair, the outfit with it, and then she just have her legs crossed over there going in.
They hate that. They're like, can you get up and show that? I'm like, I swear I love it. It's just in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
So growing up, what was the work ethic like for you to master the craft of being a bassist?
It was definitely a desire. I just wanted to practice all the time. No one was like, hey, you make sure you practice 3 hours a day. My dad would give me an idea to practice as I would hear him play. I wanted to do it real bad, and he would just be like, okay, do this then. And he would kind of spoon feed me piece by piece, and then he would leave, and then I would just practice it for, I don't know, probably way too long. And I just would do that for years. I would just take whatever I could, practice and practice and practice. I just wanted it. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why I had that drive. I just did.
And do you think that drive is something that kind of, catapulted you into where you are today? Because, of course, just having that work ethic really is one of the things and the keys to success.
Number one, work ethic is number one key to success. Talent is beautiful and all that, but it literally, I look at talent as being less than 50%, honestly, in terms of reaching your goals. It's all about putting into action what you feel is necessary, regardless of if it's enjoyable or not. Just knowing that the outcome is enjoyable and just looking at that, just trying to be big picture, not small picture.
And speaking of big picture, although you knew what you wanted to do, but play the bass, and in reading your bio and getting to know a little bit about you, you went on to become a Marine.
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
Where did that come from, and what made you want to be a Marine?
Well, I didn't want to go to college. I've never been a book smart person. I could get good grades, but it was just I didn't have the desire to try to get good grades. I had the desire to try hands-on things.
Right.
And I'm a hands-on person, and my grades were not what was up to get into any scholarships. And I just wanted to be active. My dad was in the Marine Corps, and I figured if I was going to do something, I was going to do it hard. And if I chose to go to college at some point, at least it would be free.
Right.
I'm not going to give anybody any debt or me have any debt. I really didn't want debt. And I just wanted to do the hardest thing. I've always been a really physically active person, tomboy type girl.
Right.
Love to outbeat all the dudes. So I don't know if that kind of added to my drive. I just like to beat the guys.
And so that's what pushed you into being a Marine. So what do you think some of the things that you learned during your process of being a Marine Corps? And you did it for 4 years?
4 years active duty.
Yes. Ooh. And what did that consist of?
It consisted of, first you start with boot camp, 3 months of just totally, you're cut off from anything that requires you to make your own personal choice, except for mental choices, which was kind of that alone was such an amazing training, because you don't have the opportunity to create your situation, but you always have the opportunity to control how you're going to handle it, where you're at. And that made a huge impact on how I just looked at life. I never took it personal and never had any, like, I don't know, people in the Marine Corps, they are trying to take things personal, and that makes them get brainwashed or feel weak or feel like, you know, they really try and break you down in boot camp. But if you look at it, it's all being a game, and then just kind of look at life being like that, and it's like life isn't coming at you personally, but you can control how you handle it. So
I love that. That is so, that I never even looked at it like that. You know, you can't control what comes your way, but you control how you handle it. And even with that, how do you feel in your process of after even boot camp? What was your decision of going into the world, and what was next for you? Because, you know, in the G Code, we talk about the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success, you know, and on your Instagram, you're popping, your Facebook, you're popping, you know, to the world right now. You are popping and been popping, especially with you being on tour with Nick Jonas and being on stage. And I think I even saw a microphone to your singing on there.
As well. Yeah.
And so, you know, that's the pretty we all see. Right. You know, no one knows what the grind and the ugly was like in your process of becoming this dope bassist. So what do you contest to the grind and to the ugliness that you feel really made you besides going through this boot camp?
Honestly, without being too, because I'm pretty a personal person with like how like the situations that happened, but it's been very intense, more or less just learning how to give your energy to all the things that you really care about or really want to see, I don't know, you be a part of it improving. And that was really hard because you really have to like prioritize, and I'm such a free-spirited person where I really don't like making plans. I really don't like being tied to any expectations, although I always want to give the best of something, but I just don't like the letdown of having to make promises because life happens.
Right.
So, and that was probably the hardest thing with just interacting with people that don't understand that perspective, I guess, and then taking it personally or thinking that you're some type of way, and etc. Or also dealing with guys that don't necessarily want to give you the credit for being a player, or because my dad was such an amazing bassist, they thought that I was handed a lot of gigs, which however I got to be able to be on a gig once I played it, that was what I felt was my, justification being able to be there. So that's some of the grind, being distant from family, especially after being in the Marine Corps. I just feel like I'm always away, and that's kind of, I don't know, that's sad, but I'm happy to travel. So those are some of the grinds. Relationships, struggle.
Don't we all have those?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like the struggles of it are just, I look at it broad, like that's the struggles of life, and it just applies specifically to whatever you're doing. Dealing with people, dealing with your relationships, learning how to balance everything that you love, and learning how to find out what you might not love but need to take care of. All that's part of the grind.
Absolutely. And one thing you hit on, which I really appreciate, is acknowledging that in this industry as a woman, let's really talk about that. In this industry as a woman, how do you handle the different obstacles as versus a man? Like, of course, before, Joy the drummer, I got a chance to interview her, and she talked about being a female drummer. And that's the same thing with you being a female bassist. Like you said, some people may believe that because your dad was such a phenomenal bassist that things are handed to you.
Right, exactly.
But at the end of the day, you have to prove to them, whether something is handed to you or not, you have to prove that you deserving to be here.
Exactly.
And that's really borderline
Preach,
what it
Drake.
is. That's pretty borderline what it is. But it's just like, as a woman, how is it being in this industry when it's male dominated?
I mean, don't you feel like the world is, though?
Yeah, what? I absolutely believe that. We're just like trying to make things
but
happen.
I guess to make it specifically into what's I'm doing after being in the Marine Corps, that was my setup. Like being obviously the Marines are already the smallest military force in the United States out of all of them in terms of females. Like we have the smallest amount of females. So that was, and Marines always want to be gung ho and being like, we're the toughest. They even come at other dudes. So being a female in the Marine Corps already kind of pruned me for dismissing and engaging as you see fit with them that come at you about being a female. And then I was a musician in the Marine Corps, so there was kind of like double that already. But you just overprove yourself to the point where it's like, okay, you obviously are just a hater because you see the outcome. Like, I'm not one to really ever talk about myself and all the greatness. Just be like, look, if you want to find out, like, look at it and you can see for yourself if you think that that's legit or not.
Right, absolutely. And so, I know one thing that I have noticed when it comes to women, and like you said, it's really a male-dominated world. And it's so much we have to come in like, boom, I can do this. I can be a mother, I can be a daughter. I can do the job and I can go to school, really multitasking. And it looks like, from just your life in itself, you have done that in so many ways. And has there ever been a point to where you just like, you're tired? Or has there ever been a point in the pursuit of your dreams? Because I have been in so many times where you just like, oh my God, I just want to give up. Maybe I just need to get a regular job and not keep chasing this. Was there ever a point where you were really at that place of, maybe I need to just,
it's always it's definitely not ever do something else. I honestly never ever believed in that. Like, I really believe in my heart of hearts,
plan A,
that I really do, like, that this is what I was created to be able to share happiness through, or share, I don't know, being able to make connections, I should say. Being able to connect. This is my way to connect massively. Like, I can be a people person, you can be a person that people like your outfits, whatever the case. That only goes so far, but like music, goes, it's the universal language. I really believe in that. So I never felt like music wasn't the thing. There was no anything that ever showed me that music wasn't my position. I might have felt like, man, I know I'm good, like not in a cocky way, but like I know I'm able to handle these jobs that other people are doing. Like, when will that come? But then you're just like, can't worry about when, just believe. So yeah, I would definitely get down and out. But also having people that support you and love you, I don't ever want to let them down and watch them hurt. And I could get like pretty down on myself or be depressed or be stressed and just want to be a hermit because you always got to be out there and doing something. Like I could get that way, and just knowing that people are there that are looking out for you, like that want to make sure that you're good. I couldn't let them down. Right. Like to that degree where I'm just like out, like I'm done not doing it. So many people believe. Right. It means so much.
Absolutely. And what are some things that you were doing during that time of, I'll say, not so much a drought, but when things weren't lining up how you wanted or gigs weren't coming your way? What are some things that you did to hone in on your craft, to make yourself stand out, and to really just put yourself out there more, even when things weren't happening how you wanted it to?
I try to recognize that my emotions are temporary, and that, you could, just like getting a tattoo or getting a piercing, like that pain is in the moment. And once it's healed, it's as if it never happened, except for the fact that so I try and think about that and just allow myself to feel the emotions without being undertowed by them. Because you really can't. You have to be able to ride the wave. You have to be able to feel the sadness, feel the happiness, feel all those contrasts, which create the opposite of that, whatever it is. You have to feel the happiness to feel the sadness, and vice versa, because otherwise how would you know what that even meant? How would you know that degree of happiness if you couldn't compare it to something? It's like people that have their life so good, it's like, they don't think they have it that great. It's just normal. So I just try and let myself feel my emotions, and then recognize when they're going too far, and when my mind needs to come back in and be like, okay, let's do something. But I just always will keep going. Like, at the same time, you cry, you'd be stressed out at home, and then when it's time to get to work, it's time to get to work. And if your sadness gets in the way of work, then that right there is a motivation. Like, ego has its purpose as well, and I don't want to ever be out at work looking like not sounding right, looking crazy, being rude because I had a bad day. All that matters. So
that's so true. And with you having that understanding that all of that matters in your emotion, are there people in your life that really has been pillars for you, like a mentor or individuals that guide you? Because I feel like nowadays so many people really don't understand the importance of mentors, or the importance of having that person that will, one, either motivate you, or two, give you the necessary words of wisdom to encourage you, and to also be that guide who's been there or who's been in the industry and can say, hey, try this or try that, connect with this person. Who are those people to you, and how important and are they for you?
It's pretty much all a collective thing. It's not like that person was the one.
Right.
Minus my dad and my mom. My mom she just is the embodiment of unconditional love. And my dad is like one of the wisest people I know with still a young heart. And so them coupled together gave me a huge, understanding of how to handle things like that. And just be a muse to my emotional state, my mental state, which I really feel is what creates your outside state.
That's absolutely true, because your mental capacity is really a reflection of how you're feeling in deep down inside, and then at some point what's going on the inside will always show on the outside. And has music ever been that outlet for you to even express how you feel?
Oh yeah, like, or even just to get emotions of happiness going on in my body, like, or just to be able to feel like I'm part of creating something, or feel like I'm part of excitement, because I honestly never really cared for the limelight. Like, that's why I would be sitting back playing, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, there's a lot of things that people consider something for to be watched about me, to be in the forefront, but I never wanted that. I just want to be a part of creating the good moments, and creating happiness, and creating connection for people. So I don't know.
I mean, but you're doing it. Like, now, speaking of being in the limelight and in the forefront, now you're no longer sitting in the chair with your legs crossed, playing the guitar. You're literally standing up there with Nick Jonas. And how has that transition been for you?
It's been amazing. It's actually exactly what I needed, because it's not as if I preferred to sit down. It was just like, I didn't ever want to seem like I'm trying to be seen. I didn't ever want to be like, look, because people are already looking for whatever reasons, So, but it's helped me to be able to learn how to not fake it till you make it, but fake it till you create it, I guess I should say.
That's
like,
good.
Go through the motions, just like daily affirmations. You say it even if you don't believe it, until that really resonates in your heart. Like, move around a lot and dance until I really am doing that, because the music's moving me to do so. Because it adds a whole nother level of the energy that's flowing through your body when you're, moving with the music and up there standing up. And it's not like you get tired. The adrenaline just takes you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so has that, been like something that has helped you step out of what you would say? Because you're not shy.
No, it's not that I'm shy. Yeah, it's not that I'm shy. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's overthinking. I'm one of those people. But people already have their assumptions of who I am based on the outward appearance, so I like to dress how I like to dress. People think that means you want to be seen or be loud, or, I'm a person that can talk to people I don't know, and they think that you're just trying to be one of the people that's cool with everybody, so, and because I'm already a girl that plays bass, and I'm, good enough for someone to recognize that I'm not just a girl trying to play. I don't ever want to be like, look, because they already have reasons why they would look on their own, what I'm saying? So it's not I'm shy, I just never wanted to try and seem extra.
But you know what? Your talent is really what draws people to you. And I think everything else is just an added bonus. You know what I mean? And because you're so true to yourself that it really makes people want to get to know who you are, and in your music and your ability to play the bass the way you do speak some way, somehow. That's why I was like, I have to have her on the G Code, because I know for a fact people like her who speak through their music in that kind of manner, have some codes to life, and so as we speak about the codes to life, what are some of your G codes that you live by, when it comes to operating, doing business? And I'm sure, and being able to see some of the reviews that people said about you, your experience in the Marine Corps definitely played a factor in how you handle business, how you showing up before and on time, being professional, and yes, and really speaking fluently to the people that you're having to work with. You know what I mean? So what are some G codes to the life that you live and that you live by? And of course, how has all of your experiences played a huge factor in where you are today?
So I would say my G codes, there was something that my dad would always say when I was a little kid, is like, if you don't do it yourself, someone else is going to do it for you, and it's not going to be with your interest in mind. And I was like, That's true. A lot of times people, they say they don't want to have extra jobs. It's like, but they want that thing done. It's like, okay, but it's not going to be the way that you may want to have it done. So that's one of my codes. If it doesn't work one way, try it another way. That's one. If it's true for one thing, it's true for all things. And by that's one of my quotes. And by that, I mean, if it's true in the way that thing operates, it's true for all things, because the laws of physics or the laws of the universe are what they are. So if you put your energy into something, it's going to have energy.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If you are sad, you're going to feel that suction of energy go down in you. Like there's just facts. If you give if you smile, you literally feel yourself lighten up, even if you're in a bad mood. So what's true for one thing is true for all things is another. And just to look at the cup half full. I don't know. I'm a Sagittarius, so maybe that's just because I'm optimistic, but it just doesn't serve any purpose to view something that's not even necessarily in the moment, or just to view the negative sides of it, because that's just a side. It's literally just a side, and you can acknowledge it. I'm a realist. I'm not most people. It's like everything's beautiful, blah blah, like stars and sugar, and it's like there's shit out.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. It's a podcast.
We're okay. Like, it's stuff going on out here, but the fact is, there's so much beautiful things going on that there's no point to ever be burdened by the other things, or it should be a motivation to be better when you see all those other things. So, that's one of mine. Just be optimistic. Look at the glass half full. Be able to be self-motivated. If you can generate your own energy and motivation, that's a beautiful thing.
It's so key.
It's so key, and it's very hard, especially when you have support. And also, but there's a balance in not being afraid to allow support to support you. I don't know. So that's also a delicate balance I've struggled with. Not taking help from people because you're like, well, I can do it, and it's not your journey to, your burden to take care of this, or even if it comes to moving gear. But now I'm like,
yeah, you can take that.
You can take it, right? Because you see that it allows you to do what you're supposed to be doing even better, which is what I feel, giving back to, what they offered you so that you could do exactly that.
Absolutely, so staying in your lane and being like, okay, yes, you can carry my base for me.
Right, because that's their lane, and that
right.
There's something for everyone, and the more that everyone's doing exactly what they're doing, which should be a thing that helps everyone come together. If you're doing your job, it's helping me to show up to be here. Me doing what I'm doing, being a bass player, provided you to do your job. So the more everyone does what they're meant to do, the more that I feel like it comes together. So you can't be afraid to allow someone to help. So those are my codes.
I love that. I definitely, it's funny because I always tell people, if I ever was to be on Miss America, which I definitely would never do, but if the question ever came up, what would be one of your things that you will want to see for the world? My dream and my goal is to be able to see everybody do what they love to do and do what they were born to do.
Right.
And like you just said, if you're doing what you are supposed to do and staying in your lane, it gives everybody the opportunity to drive in their lane appropriately.
Exactly.
And it serves as a support system to each other.
Exactly.
And that is a great code, because some people don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't think many people really understand that concept.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing when people do. So
yeah, it is.
I love that code. And beyond the codes, what are some words of advice that you would give other artists, other musicians who are longing to have an opportunity like you? And what do you suggest that they do in this moment to prepare for such opportunity? Because like you said, someone just happened to Google you. They inbox you on Instagram. Someone's always watching. That's the thing.
But they didn't even know my name. Like,
right?
Female bassist, Google. How does that happen?
Right.
That blew my mind. I would say, first and foremost, don't let go of expectations, but always have goals. That's right. Like really know what you want ultimately, but don't have any expectations, because that's what you want.
Right.
And wants, who knows how those got developed in your mind, what you actually want.
Right.
Did it come from your heart? Did it come from what, your people told you you're good at? You have to really know, and then let go of those expectations, and just only thing you can expect is out of yourself to do what you feel is achieving your goal. And if you're doing that and the outcomes aren't matching that, then if it don't work one way, try it another way. Like I said. And also recognize that everyone's not meant to do what what they necessarily like might be ego driven to do, because I feel like that's a lot of times why people don't get to where they want to go, because they want it for those reasons. And I just feel like that doesn't yield the outcome that you want, because what they really want is the love, but you're going for it in a way that's not rooted in love. So I would say do whatever you're doing rooted in love first, and then let your actions be in alignment with what was rooted in love. Even if you're doing something, like driving to work. I hate driving to work. Okay, but why are you going?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I would say don't be afraid to play for not a lot of money, but also have a standard for how much you want. I don't know, money-wise, food-wise, if they're paying for travel, if they're paying whatever accommodation, just make sure you feel you're being treated fair, because if the moment you start getting mad about what you agreed to do, something's wrong.
Right.
You agreed to do it.
Right.
So, and if you find yourself getting mad, you're just going to be trapped in those situations more and more. I believe in the law of attraction, and I just feel like what situation you put yourself into are the type of things that you draw to you again and again. I really believe in that.
That's so true. So have you read the book Law of Attraction?
I didn't. I'm so not a reader. I have a bad attention span, and it puts me to sleep when I read. I can't. But I watched the documentary.
Yes, the documentary is really, really dope. And for a while, that was me until I had to start finding books that I just really couldn't put down. And so now I'm an avid reader. I'm gonna have to pass you that book.
Yeah,
because I think you really, really like it. It's really great. The Law of Attraction by Sarah and Abraham Hicks, I believe.
Yeah,
I gotta double check the name of the title. But I think you're absolutely right. The energy you put out is the energy you get back, and what you're seeking for is someone is seeking after you, and that's how that's how I look at it.
Waiting on you to do it,
right?
Yeah.
So you just gotta show up, and you showed up all the time.
Just keep showing up,
right?
That's so true. They would always say, all you gotta do is show up. Just play, be a part of the game. You got to be in the game to win. So I don't know, just keep doing it. I never believed in doing anything but music, even if I had really bad tendonitis at one point, and
wow,
me being the person that believes in the law of attraction, so let me not start thinking what if, 'cause that's not even here, so what good is that going to do? But should anything ever happen, it still would be music related. So just know what you love, and don't give up on what you love because of other things. You just can't. It's too important.
Absolutely. And speaking of not giving up, what's next for you? You're doing the Nick Jonas tour. Once the tour is done, what is the plan after that? What are you looking to do?
Well, thankfully, since he's such an hot artist right now, for him trying to really be Mr. Pop, number one out there, he's
keep touring.
Yeah, we're
Nice.
We have a world tour, which I'm so stoked for, called The Future Now, and it's starting in spring, and it's headlining with Demi Lovato.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna literally do a world tour for 4 months. Before that, in a week, we're doing the Jingle Ball events, which are just little holiday. It's a pop holiday event, which they do in different cities. So we're doing a private Victoria's Secret show in St. Bart's.
Shoot,
I hope they let me wear some wings.
New underwear, girl.
They better let me have
get you some
wings.
free bras and panties. Listen,
all of them.
Okay, you better get them wings and those.
And them. Yeah.
That is so awesome. And what is I was gonna ask you your biggest dream and your biggest goal. But sometimes it's not really a good thing to tell all the time.
Well, it's just right now, and if it changes, that's just fine. But I feel like my biggest goal is to really, I guess, is to live the full potential, maximize the potential of what I know. I know that I have to offer, and in every way, not just music, but just as a whole, because I really believe it. Everything is everything. It all ties together. Chuck Rainey once said, if you want to be a better player, be a better person. And I was damn, wow, it's true. Even for your field, you have to be a good listener. You have to be good, adaptable. You have to be, a hard worker with learning how to operate things. It's the same. I have to be able to interact with people I don't know and still have a good vibe. And you have to be a listener to play music and not be ego driven when you're trying to be heard and always play over people. So it's just, I guess my ultimate goal is just maximize those things so that I can just give it out. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like and I always have to disclaim, saying not in a cocky way, I feel like I was blessed to be able to shine for a certain reason. And I feel like if I could get past the shyness of not wanting to be seen and just
Right.
allowing that to get out, I feel like I could do something awesome. I want to write. I want to create. But I never wanted to do it. Everyone would be like, you should be a writer. You should write songs. You should be in the forefront. And
Right, because you sing too.
But
so.
yeah, but I always felt like it was for them, but now I finally am at a point where I'm driven to create. And before I was just driven to be a part of something beautiful. And now I want to create
something.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I want to, but collaborative, of course, like not like a Zuri album, Zuri, like
Right.
I would do like how Robert Glasper did Black Radio, just like feature different artists on every track. Like I just want to do something like that. I don't know, that's my goal ultimately.
I can't wait to see when you create this beautiful thing. Hopefully I could be a part of it. Like, mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yes, you could be our announcer, something like that.
Yes, I'm so around for it. Now, thank you so much for coming into the G Code.
you.
I want you to tell the folks how they can follow you, your social media, so to get the, every time you promoting, we want to make sure that we're retweeting, we're a part of your community.
So you can find me on Facebook. My name is Zuri Appleby on there. There's apparently another Zuri Appleby. Somebody that's trying to beat me. So,
oh, wow.
So Elise is
Yeah.
Zuri Appleby. And then you can find my fan page on Facebook, which is, facebook.com/musical chameleon. On Twitter, I am Zurberry. On Instagram, I'm Zurberry. On Snapchat, I'm Zurberry121, but I don't really be posting that much on there.
Oh, we got to do that one. You got to make sure you're showing us all the action.
I have a website, which is just ZuriAppleby.com. And I think that's all of it.
Oh,
my phone number is secret.
Oh yeah, we can't give that one out unless you get a Google voicemail. You can screen people like Zuri1945. You know what I mean?
Right.
And of course, my go-getters, make sure you are following her, support her, check her out. If the tour is in a city near you, make sure you go ahead there and go see them. And if you can, check her out afterwards. Try to get an autograph. Are you doing any autographs yet?
I have done a few because everybody was asking me to sign the Public when I was on the Public.
Right.
And just by the way, Buffalo, I'll be at First Niagara with Nick and Demi. So
What is this?
that is, oh my God.
I'm
like I
find
need
out.
my phone. It's soon. It's soon. It's this winter, I want to say, or in January or something. It's soon. But tickets probably expensive. I don't know.
It's okay. We're going to make sure we support.
But should you feel so moved to see me in action, I'll be there.
Absolutely. So let's make sure we support her. This is a Black girl magic, making things happen and really deciding to turn dreams into reality. That's what it's all about, being inside the G Code. And I hope you take her codes, learn from them, utilize them, and make sure you are yet again supporting me, ADRI.V, the Go Getta, always giving you the G Code each and every Wednesday. And it's okay. It's a hump day. And we're here to help you get over the hump, to be motivated and I'll say educated on what someone else was able to do to turn their dreams into reality. So you can know that you can do it too. Yet again, as always, welcome to the G Code.